Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. We're just keep making progress. Nothing's gonna stop us. Looks like I got that cursor glitch. Just jump in the game and get right to it. So I started working on a spawner, which a spawner is basically a blueprint that respawns items. You set it up to respawn items, like blueprints within the blueprint. Something I might kind of similar do to these things here if I want to make these respawn. Although I might not need to make these respawn. I'm going to have to do it to the bushes. I have to make respawners for the bushes because that's plant fiber. But these little sticks and stones, like, you're not really going to pick these up that much. You will in the beginning, and I'm not going to have tons of those everywhere. I'll scatter them around just in case you have like an emergency and you need a stick or a stone. But I don't think I need to make them respawn, because the way it works is if I just place them out there, every time you load the map, like even if I don't save these, like they're just gonna load as default as part of the map. So like they'll reload with the map every time. So I don't need to really make them respawn because you're not going to be picking them that often. You're not going to be scouring the map for these little sticks and stones. You're just going to cut trees and mine rocks. So I don't think I need to make a... Plus, we don't need like hundreds of more things out there doing all these calculations, right? Like, they can just sit out there and just sit there and do their thing, you know, doing nothing. But yeah, I kind of put together a respawner for the crops, the edibles, we'll call them. Why is that one over there? Did the wood roll into it and move it? Is that what happened? That's kind of funny. I might need to, is that what happened? Hold on. Can we get it to happen again? I might need to, make them unmovable or something. No, I don't know why that mushroom's over there. But anyways, oh, it got moved somehow. What happened? Oh, must have clicked on it. That was tripping me out. Anyways, the respawner. So I'm always looking for little bugs like that. You kind of have to be on the hunt for bugs. So we got our little respawners right here. Kind of noticing a little bit of a frame drop. Might have to look at the loads for some of these, although we're not going to have this many, you know. It's probably these crops. These crop things are probably like really high res. Yeah, I already felt the frames kind of come back a little bit when some of them went away. Okay, I think the mushrooms are pretty good, but I think the crops might be, because those are from a different item pack. And I got this set up to just work. It wasn't even that hard to do. I'll kind of walk you through how simple it is. I did have to do something a little different. I'm using my same generator, my number generator that I was using for getting the gems. Basically, I roll on crops now. So this is the spawner I made. Basically, there's nothing, you know, in it. And you take the default scene route and you spawn an item at that. And you know, like when it starts, we do our number generator, and from the number generator, you know, we get our item, we set our item, we spawn that item at the location. But if it is a crop, we need to set a different mesh. So like something I've had in the game for a while, because I was following a tutorial when I first started to kind of get my inventory system going, and since then I've built on it so much it's not even like the same thing anymore. But for some reason the guy added this variable to our items, and this entire time I thought this variable affected this variable, which it doesn't. I think he intended to do that at one point and he just never did. But this has just kind of been sitting there, and I started realizing that, and I was going to delete it, But then it kind of hit me that I could use this as an alternate mesh for certain situations, like if you want a potato to be the potato plant, or even like let's say we want wood to be a stick. So there's, you know, situations where you can use that. So I'm probably going to leave that on the items for now, because I all of a sudden found a pretty good use for it. But that's something you kind of need to do, because we're spawning a potato that you want to pick up the potato, but when we spawn it, we want it to look like a potato plant. So in the spawner, we're telling it to do that. You know, as we spawn this item, by the way, you know, check the item mesh. And most of my items, you know, like a cabbage, you know, like it's just cabbage. It's the same item mesh. So like in that spawner, it's just going to look like the item because it doesn't have a different variation. So it's going to pick this item mesh for every single one, but for most of the items, it's just the same item mesh. So we're resetting our item mesh, and then we're setting our gravity and physics so it doesn't, you know, flop all over the place and doesn't float around. Oh, I can remove this. This was for testing. Yeah, we don't need that. All right, and then we, you know, set our delay. Now I could set it, make it to where if a player picks this, then we start a timer. But then I have to communicate from the player to this that the player picked this and that a timer needs to start. And that's an expensive code to do when you communicate from the player to a blueprint in the item or in the game. So it's easier just to do the timer, you know, instead of doing a timer based off of the player's interaction. We just do a timer based off of nothing, really. Just start a timer. And if we make the timer long enough and make it a little random, then it won't really matter because they're all going to get off a little bit. So if we make this timer like 60 minutes or something, and then we divide 60 minutes in half and use that for the minimum, which would be 30 minutes, it will pick a random number between 30 minutes and 60 minutes, and that will be our respawn timer. So that's going to give it quite a bit of variation while making it not be 0 seconds or 1 second or 5 seconds or something, you know. It's always going to be like a bigger number towards the bigger range. And you could change this, you know, if you wanted it to be like less random and like more closer to the higher number. You can just kind of, you know, divide it by more or less. I don't know, whatever. But we also have to check valid if the item mesh is still there, because what happens if you pick up the item mesh? You're going to get an error here if you try to destroy it and it's not there. So if it's not there, then we just go back after the timer is completed and spawn a new one. But if it is there, we destroy it first, then we go back, spawn a new random one. So pretty simple, right? And then, you know, we have our random generator here, our number generator, which is the same thing as the gym thing. Basically, I'm not casting. I found a way not to cast to the GI, the game instance save file. I basically just save the variables on this blueprint, and then you have to reset it to 0 every time so it doesn't continuously add because you're not casting. But yeah, not casting. We're just doing a timer. Each one of these is continuously doing a timer. So I don't know how expensive that's going to be. You know, in the long term of things, if you have like 100 of these things all doing a timer, constantly doing a timer. But it doesn't seem too bad. Like, I'm getting a little bit of frame just because I think these are high quality meshes. And there's like a few of them here on my screen now. But I think if it was all mushrooms, the frames would be almost up to 50. So yeah, it's going to get more and more random as it goes on, because it's going to build off of the last duration, the last delay. So from the start of the game, they're all going to have the same start time, but then once the end time is all different, they'll have new start times, and it will become more and more random. Shouldn't be too noticeable if you set a very high respawn time, like 60 minutes, like 45 minutes, something like that. You know, like the player can go out there and like what, I don't really think they're going to pick everything on the map, you know, and then run out, you know, in 45 minutes. It takes a good 30 minutes to run this whole map, and it's not even a big map. It's pretty small. It's just you know, like I'm not doing my super fast sprint. I kind of just get this lower thing because we got to manage stamina too, right? You know, like we can't just infinitely run around the map. So it's going to take a little while to run around the map. You know, like these things will respawn. I got them set up pretty good as far as the heights. I know right here they don't seem like that. That's just kind of how I duplicated them. Oh, that's why that one was moved, because I was testing to make sure. So like there's a thing in Unreal where you can hit the N key and it'll just drop it to the thing that's below, just to the surface. And I was testing to see if I had adjusted all the mushrooms, because you can see here they're kind of like not in the ground, kind of floating off the ground. But that's not because of anything. That's because I duplicated it and just kind of pulled it. So like here, if we just duplicate them and then drop them, like this is gonna, you know, sit in the ground pretty good. Each one that comes through should be sitting in the ground pretty good, look pretty good. None of them should be floating out as they respawn, you know, because the meshes are different. You know, if one mesh was up higher, it's just going to respawn in there and be floating off the ground. Should have probably lowered the respawn timer for this demonstration. But yeah, I think I'm ready to start putting these everywhere. I went back to the white mushroom. I don't think there's anything really holding me back that would keep me from putting these everywhere, because I can control all of them with just this one item, this one blueprint. It's not in there, it's in the nodes. This one blueprint right here controls all these on the screen right here. Everyone we're looking at is just a duplication of that. And they're all like, you know, like if I go in here and I want to make the respawn time, if we want to make this really low, you know, and affect everyone on the map without going to all 100 of these and adjusting it, if we wanted to just kind of change them all real quick like that, so we set it for like 5 seconds or 2 seconds or something, so like boom 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 boom, we can change everything just like that. So I don't think there's anything really holding me back from putting these out on the map now. I got the wood, I got the trees out there, I got the rocks, the stone rocks out there. We put our clay nodes and our mining rock nodes out there. I guess I can put these out there now. Nothing holding me back. And then the next thing would be to get these little sticks and stones in the bushes. I gotta make a respawner for the bushes, and I gotta pick bushes too. The models, I still have to do that. I think I'm gonna pick matching models, because these trees, the seasonal tree pack and the pine tree pack, they came with really small versions, which are basically like bushes. So I'll probably just use those for bush variations. I just have to decide how many variations of the bushes to have, and if I want to add any ones that are different than the pine trees and the seasonal trees. If I want a bush in there that looks completely different than those, like for example, like this snowy bush, which I don't think we're going to use that, but if we wanted like cattails or something, you know, like maybe we could use that or something, you know. And this has a load level of detail. The distance on the load is messed up to show a really terrible load. That you should only be looking at that load from like thousands of meters away, to where you can't even tell what it is. You just see like a shape that might be a tree. But anyways, yeah, I think we're gonna put these out there. I think we're gonna end the video right now. Try to keep them actually short and not 30 minutes long. So yep, stay tuned for the next one, guys.